feel discriminated here, being the only Hindu debating in the all of the 8 debaters here, and knowing that Hindu does not have an organization a religious organization in Indonesia as a whole. Speaking about Bali is a complete different thing. Now, if you want to say that Hindu Bali is the same as Hindu Ayam, we pray to different gods, is a complete different thing. We don't use the flowers now because we are completely different and there's no religious group representing us. And therefore, discrimination does happen in that one point. Now, before I go on to my points of clashes, I have a few points of rebuttal saying that negating on first just what a new point that the government whip actually brought up. Now they say that the government in Indonesia is not down to earth because they're not touching any single need what the Indonesians want. Now first of all, since when were we speaking about Indonesia? Second of all, not all countries in the world are Indonesia and are corrupted. Third of all, Indonesia government, incidentally I respect them for this, are actually giving the society BLT if they below the poverty line. That means they're actually providing something for the society, and therefore they're actually looking for the need of the society, which is money. Now, Now, if you want to say the clashes that happened in this debate, now let me just specify this into 3. First of all, on the basis on whose obligation is this. Second of all, on which one is more efficient. And third of all, definitely the cost and benefit analysis. Now first, on the basis of obligation. Now we see that they say, yes, they do have the obligation because they speak to God. That God, under God's name, they do have the obligation to do so. First question, why do you have to force them? And there is a choice for them to actually give or not. Now that has been asked throughout Anisa's speech. That's not been answered in the whip. I said no. Now, second, why do you have to do it on the basis of God? And thirdly, belief is relative, and you want to do it or not, it's up to you. Opening Gulf said religious groups have moral values. Now, if they have moral values, why do they need the government to tell them and help the societies in need, to help them with welfare? Now, they do have the capability. That has been said throughout the whole opposition bench. They do not need the money from the government. The government needs to focus because it's their obligation to help the society in need. Now, before that, any of you opening?
The discrimination, they're not going to discriminate people because it only will antagonize their image as the one who discriminate people and suddenly lose all the trust as respectful institutions.
Right. How are you going to say that the Muslim religious institution is going to help me who's in need with other religious institution here? How would you say that the Christians would help the Catholics, which in Northern Ireland, they're actually fighting? Now, how would you say that they would actually help each other? And because Indonesia is actually, sorry to say, is actually full of Muslims, and they're going to go bias on the Muslims, how are you going to say that, yeah, they're going to look after and they're going to separate it equally among all the 5 religions? And again, why am I speaking about Indonesia? So, basically, discrimination would happen. Basically, that's what closing opposition stands for. And that's why we say closing opposition takes the first point. Now, second of all, sit down. On the basis of efficiency. Now, proposition bench, proposition bench says that because they're respected, because they won't do corruption, and third of all, because it would have equality, that is better. Now, first of all, on the point of respect, Anissa spoke to you that the fatwas that MOE has actually passed on cigarettes, on yoga, especially on riding on motorcycles with the people who you're not married with. Now, how would a person, even in rural areas, respect such fatwas? Because, sit down, they would listen to it, as what Mayan said, but they would not respect it. Now, we're considering respect, not listening. Listening without respecting is completely nothing. Now, saying about corruptions, you are actually going first from the government's bureaucracy. Now, alright, we know Indonesia is full of corruptions, they say, even if it's Indonesia. Now, Indonesia is full of corruption, I'll take it in a second. Indonesia is full of corruption. Putting it to another bureaucracy which is full of religion, how would you be able to trust the religion? They have not proven. Now, you cannot trust a bureaucracy anyway in Indonesia because most of them are corrupted. You're going first through bureaucracy in the government. Second, you're going through bureaucracy in religion. That means, yes, it's not efficient because it takes longer and it's full of corruption. Before I go on to what we said, what you say.
In every religion, there's no religion teach to discriminate another religions.
Here.
Yeah, but it does not teach the Indonesians not to discriminate Indians like what happened in BINUS Nusantara University. So, you do not teach the society not to discriminate. The government might say so, but the government does not implement it in the day-to-day activity. You look for it, you will be discriminated. That's the social mindset of Indonesians. Sorry to say, you guys are Indonesians. Now, on the third point, on what we said on the basis of efficient, I took you already. Now, on the basis of efficiency, now, government not focusing on any single religion would actually distribute it equally among all parties. Now, anyone in need, the government would go for it. Anyone in need, the government would go help, because the government has moral obligations. The government should get tied in with social contract. Now, that's why we say, whenever a person is needed, the government should focus and go towards that need. No government would leave their society neglected and do nothing. Third point, sit down. On the basis of cost-benefit analysis. Now, alright, they say that if you don't implement this, if you implement this, it will be faster and it would avoid corruption. A, how is it going to faster if you're going to go to more bureaucracy? B, bureaucracy creates corruption. How is that more bureaucracy is going to reduce corruption? First of all, that's the cost we're trying, we would love to avoid more corruption, and it's going to take a slower time. Benefit towards this is that there would not be a segregation towards society. That means no person would think the one religion is better than the other, and therefore they would actually go against that religion. Second of all, there will be more trust towards the government, because the government is actually paying attention, is actually putting their bare hands into helping the whole society. Now, therefore, we say trust to the government is there, and segregation of state and segregation of society would not be there. Conflict of interest would not be there, and therefore, under these three clashes, we show you why. First of all, closing government spoke to you about obligation on the basis of social contract. Second of all, it's efficient because it's equality. And third of all, on the basis of cost and benefit analysis, we see no cost in not implementing this, but we see a lot of benefits. Now with this, I would like to say kick ass, kicked ass.